Good evening, everyone. How are y'all this evening? I'm getting set up here to try to find myself over here on my computer so I can see that I'm set up properly. Technology, you gotta love it. I hope y'all have all had a great day today. I've been busy. Well, this isn't wanting to come up. I'm going to go ahead and place my camera in my holder and see if I can fiddle with this to get this to come up so I can see that I'm lined up. Okay. Hold on, everybody. Let's see here. Oh, this ain't working out. Well, this is just lovely. Yep, this is just lovely. Nothing's showing up. Let me get out of here and try this again. Come on. Ah, finally, my page is coming up. Maybe. Wow. Let's see if I'm on here. Ah, there it is. It's not doing anything. Let's see. Yeah, I hadn't been live on them for a while, and I know people's had some issues trying to do their lives on Facebook. I'm hoping that that's not going to be the case tonight. I'm trying to pull this up here. It's not. Maybe we're gonna go. Looks like it. Let's see. Looks like we're gonna be in screen here. Well, there's one hand. Turn that off. Let's see. If anybody's on here, y'all give me a shout out so I can see if I'm in here. Please, somebody help me out if you're on here. Say hi, give me a thumbs up, something or other, so I can see if y'all are hitting me. Let's see. My hubby got me a new table for my craft room, and so this is the first live I've done on it. And it is so much bigger than what I'm used to, but I absolutely am loving it. I can stand up to do my lives and do my stamping. I don't have to be sitting at a puny little table all the time anymore. So this is wonderful. Well, I think I'm just going to go with it here. It looks like I'm lined up. I'm not seeing comments. I'm not seeing nothing. What's the deal here? Let's see here. Huh. Okay. I guess it wants to be cantankerous for me today. Ah, there you are, Miss Judy. Thank you. For some reason, my swipe to reveal comments. Yes, I would like to reveal the comments. Come on, help me out here. Well, I guess it just wants to be cantankerous. Shows I've got one person on here, but I can't read anything. It's not showing me my comments. Come on. Well, let's turn it around. All right. I just turned it. Hopefully it's still good. I can't see the view very well with my thing set like that, but it doesn't want to let me look at it from the other directions. Ha! There we go. Yay! Finally! Alright. Sorry about that, guys. Alright. Hopefully I'm in screen well. How are y'all this evening? Everybody doing good? I hope y'all are ready for this. It's been a while. We'll see how rusty I am. Okay, I'm going to start out with, yes, the new catalog is out. I can't open it up and show it to you, but, you know, here's the new mini. Here's the new celebration. It will be available to the public, all customers, starting August the 3rd. And there are some fantastic products in it. I can't wait to start sharing them. I don't like to share my products too early and get everybody all frustrated because they can't get them. So I do have a few things created. But I'll show you a little sneak peek of a card that I made. I had this in my mind whenever I seen this set in the new catalogs. And it's called Arctic Bears. And when I seen this, obviously I thought of Alaska and all of our trips. Of course, we haven't seen polar bears. You know, we've seen the grizzlies, but you know. So I took the Give It a Whirl dies and started stamping and putting this together and just having a good time. So this is my Arctic bear, and you've got, you know, icebergs and stuff on here and little polar bears. And so I used it on the Give It a Whirl. I stamped and die cut out the big polar bear and embossed him in white, and stamped the icebergs. Tried to give the depth of the ocean and stuff because they are so blue and gorgeous in Alaska. And then it says thinking of you. Got the birds up here. Twirl the little wheel dilly. And I did some more icebergs. And then the baby polar bear, I don't know if you can see him, he's embossed in using the white embossing powder. But I am in love with the whirled eyes, and it seems like everything I'm creating is with the whirled eyes. But I just wanted to give y'all a quick sneak peek there anyways. And yeah, I've got other sets over here I could show you, but I'm here to make a card, so we're going to do that. And also, the reminder, the new paper pumpkin that will be out in August is the Hope Box, and it is our co-founder, Shelly, who usually creates a paper pumpkin box once a year, and so this is what she has created. And there's a short little video on it, but it's going to be a great kit. And so I just wanted to remind y'all about that. Her kits are always special. And tonight we're going to do the birds and branches on the request of Mary, who had seen a card on my blog that she wanted done, which was this one. And this is a 4 1/4 by 11. And I think I'm going to do tonight, I'm going to do it in a 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. Everything's the same measurements, just the card's going to be cut different. The layers, everything's going to be the same. Different colors, But everything will be die cut and layered the exact same way. So I just thought I'd give you a second, option on the card. And I'll show you how I stamped the front, but I'm going to use something different there just to give you some options on what you can use if you don't have the stamp set that I used. And let's see, we're going to need scrap of basic white. You're going to need your inside layer, which is going to be cut at 4 by 5 1/4. And then your top layer is the same. It's going to be 4 by 5 1/4, which is this one here. Doesn't matter what designer series paper you use, or if you use the birch background stamp that I used. It doesn't matter, just whatever you put on the front. So I'm going to give you an option. I'll show you how I use this, but I'll give you the option on something else here. And we're going to use a different color tonight. And I'm working out of the annual catalog. This is in the annual catalog for those that are wondering where they could find it at. It's in the annual catalog. Let's see what page it's on. Let me see if I can find what page it's on. Birds and Branches. It's on page 108. Somewhere in here. Yeah, it's on page 108. There's the Birds and Branches. Okay, so with all of that out of the way, we're gonna start. I guess I should cut my paper first. That should be the first thing I do, is cut my paper. Okay, I have chose to use Old Olive in this card. This card I used Soft Seafoam, but I'm going to use Old Olive. You can use any color you want, whatever your favorite colors are. And I'm going to cut this. Ooh, I think I got 2 sheets here. Nope, just one. I'm going to cut this at 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, which is just cutting it in half. Right there. And then we're going to score it at 4 1/4. And I know you know how to do this, but if there's somebody watching that doesn't know how, I want them to know how to cut their paper, so it doesn't take too long. So here's your card base, 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. Scored at 4 1/4. Fold it over. Grab my bone folder here and give it a crease. And here's your card base. And the only difference here is this one's going to open this way, And this one opened this way, but all the die cuts, everything's going to be, the placement will be the same. Doesn't matter which way. You know, I could turn it this way and have the card open this way and do it that way too. It's just whatever works best for you, whatever's the easiest for you. I just wanted to do something different, you know. Okay, so here's our card base. Whoops, I still got to cut my... And I'm going to use Designer Series paper for this card, but I am going to show you how to do the other stamp that I did in the beginning. I just want you to have options here that you can use. And the layer is going to be cut at 4 by 5 1/4. So 4. And I'm going to go down here to 5 1/4. I don't know if you can see it here. I got this lined up. I'm just going to push that down, go up. And then I'm going to turn it to 5 1/4. And that's going to be right there. And I'm going to come up here and line that up. Yep. And cut. And the Designer Series paper I'm using is the Peach Designer Series paper. You're a Peach Designer Series paper. And this is one of the partial sheets that I'm using tonight. The papers in it. You've got this one, and then you've got this side that's got a stripe. And because I've decided I'm going to try to make an Oriole bird instead of, I think I used I don't remember what bird was I used last time. I got a bunch of scraps here. I've been using this paper quite a bit. Sorry about that, folks. This is the one I'm using. Hopefully I've got all the sheets. This one, it's got the big peaches, and our dies can also cut out the peaches and stuff in this paper if you don't, you know, if you wanted to do that instead of stamping them. Oh, I didn't show the back side of that. The back side's a blue dotted kind of paper. And let's see. I think I showed that one. Did I show this one? Yeah, I don't think I showed this one. And then you've got the back that's got the peach colors in it. But anyways, that's the DSP, 12 by 12 sheets of DSP. And it is on sale this month through August the 2nd. We have like 8, I think it's 8 or 9 different DSPs that we have on sale through August the 2nd. So here's my layer for the front of my card, and we're going to die cut that out, and we're going to be using the layering circles dies. And these are the circle dies that you've got the ones that's got the frilly edge and then just the plain edge. And we're going to use the largest circle of the plain edge to die cut the front out with. And let's see. We will be using the stamp and die set from the Birds and Branches. And on my first card, I used the birch stamp, which is a large background stamp. And this is what it looks like. I've got it in my Stamparatus. It's the easiest way to stamp a background stamp for me. Now, a lot of people will just put them down on, you know, leave them in their case, stamp them, and take the paper and use a scrap piece of paper and lay over it and rub over the top of it. But I'm going to go ahead and stamp this and just show you how how it would work. Now I went ahead and cut my paper to the size that I would have wanted it for my card front. When I did it before, when I made the card, I just took a large piece of paper and stamped it and then cut it down. But tonight I have cut the paper and hopefully I have it in the right position, because I think I moved it. Yeah, pretty close anyways. But you can't use your magnets on the background stamp unless you're using an extra large piece of paper that you can have your magnets above, because this fills up the whole page. So I'm going to take my ink pad, and this is crumb cake, and just ink up the entire stamp. And that looks pretty good. And the plus on using a Stamparatus, if you don't get it inked up well the first time, you can always go back and re-ink it and go right back over where you've already been. So let's give this a press. Actually, instead of using my fingers, I got me a dry eraser so I can rub over the whole thing instead of using the tips of my fingers. Really works well to get a full coverage on a lot of stamps instead of sitting here pushing. So I've given it time there. Let's see. Aha, yeah, it turned out pretty good. So that's what it would look like that I did on my first card. I think I used a different color ink, or I stamped off, or my pad might not have been, inked up well. But that's what I did on the very first card. So I'm going to move that out of the way. And let's see. Let me grab my chamois here and wipe off some of this ink off of my stamp here. I just don't want to leave all the ink on it. I'll clean it off later with my cleaning pad. So that's how you would do that. Okay, so I'm going to stamp. Let's see, you'll need a piece of scratch paper for your sentiment and for your birds. I've already stamped and colored one. Try to save a little bit of time, but y'all know me, I'm not worded for doing things quick. So I've got the little one stamped, and I'm going to stamp the other one that goes in the other direction here on this scrap. Yes, I believe in using up all my scraps. So we're going to take the block. I like to lay my stamps down on the surface and then take my block and put it to the stamp. That way it stamps. Hopefully it's all lined up good. Doesn't always happen, but most of the time. So, and I'm going to get my Memento ink. And we're going to give this bird a little stamp here. And let's see, I'm going to stamp him off over here. Yeah, alright, looks good. See how much ink I can get on me before we... Hey, got ink on my new desk. Alright. So, let's see. I hope I'm in... Can y'all see what I'm doing here? Yeah, hopefully. Okay, I'm going to stamp my bird. Okay. Got him stamped. I'm going to clean him off. And I'm going to pull the... Stick him back on here. And then I'm going to get his little wing. And I'm going to use this size block here for the wing. And let's see. I'm not going to use the solid image to color it in because I'm going to use my Stampin' Blends. So I'm just going to use 2 of the stamps instead of all 3 of them. So, actually he's got pretty good on his wing there, but we're going to do this anyways. And I'm going to stamp off because I don't want it to be so solid black that you can't see his wing. So, hopefully my head ain't in here. Line that up. Yeah, pretty good. I'll take it. Alright, so there's our bird. And I like to put my stamps back on my sheet. I know, I'm weird, but if I don't, I'll end up losing them. So, let's get those blocks out of my way. And I'm going to grab the dark pale papaya and my light and dark pumpkin pie. It's the closest orange we've got to doing Oriole. So that's what I'm going with. I'm going to start out with the light pumpkin pie here. Just color it in. And with your Stampin' Blends, you don't go all the way to the edge because, you know, they're alcohol markers and they're going to bleed out some. So don't start off right at the edge of your paper. You know, stay away from it just a little bit. Add a little highlight in here. I was looking up Orioles today, and there are Orioles in Texas. Typically not where we live, but they're in East Texas and West Texas. But their eggs are a creamy white to a bluish with brown specks in them. Or it could have a little bit of blue specks. So, that's the simple part of Stampin' Blends. They dry fast. It's quick, easy to color. You can take as much time and add, you can, like it's dry, you can go back and add more color if you want it to be brighter or darker. You can just keep adding layers. You know what? I forgot to stamp the feet for these birds. Looking at my other card, yeah, I do want them to have a few feet here. So let's get a little block out here and stamp the feet. Let's see. Which feet did I use? Alright, so we're going to stamp. I'm going to stamp these little bitty tiny feet like they're tucked under, and the other ones got some legs to them. Let's get out my Memento ink again. And yes, there's little dies for these too. So I'm just going to stamp. I'll stamp them over here on this piece of scrap. Didn't turn out too well. Let's see if I can do this one better. Okay, there's that one. Let's re-stamp this, see if it will look better. Look about the same. Okay, there's the bird's feet. I'll just leave them on the block and put them back in a minute. So, okay, there's our feet. Oh, I'm going to bring my Big Shot in here because, oh, I got the dogs under my feet tonight because Denny's out cleaning the pool. So they're in here in my craft room, so hopefully I don't trip and fall over them. Seems to be a real occurrence. I don't think, I'm going to check this out, but I don't think that my big circle die will go through my little machine. Ooh, yeah, it will. Or will it? it will, my paper won't. So I'm using my Big Shot, which is my die cutting machine that Stampin' Up used to carry. But they now have the Stampin' Up cut emboss machine. And I have the mini of it because we didn't have a mini machine before, so we do now. So I got the mini and chose to keep my Big Shot because it was still working fine. So if you was to get a machine, this is what the new ones would look like. You'd have the bigger one, or you would have the smaller one. Oh, but I'm using my old faithful Big Shot, and we're going to die cut this stuff out here. So, oh, let me turn this around here. I hope this isn't in y'all's face too much. Y'all let me know if it's too close. I'll see what I can do to adjust it. No promises. Okay, and we're going to start by die cutting the Designer Series paper first to layer on top of the card. And so I'm going to need the large circle die. So you're going to line it up. It doesn't matter really where you line it up at. I put mine towards the top. Wherever you put it, make sure that you leave enough room that you can put a sentiment either at the bottom, or if you want the hole down at the bottom, leave room to put a sentiment at the top. Otherwise, you're going to be covering up part of your scenery. So you take your die and you line it up on your DSP or on your stamped card image, whichever one you choose to do. And you line it up as evenly as possible from side to side and from the top or whatever. But I've got mine lined up here in the center, and so I've got me a piece of tape here, and I'm going to kind of cut. Don't want to put that on the wrong plate. Had to get a new plate. I don't want to. So I'm going to line this up here, and you'll probably want to know the measurements. I think this is about, yeah, it's about a ½ inch from each side, and from the top down you got about a ½ inch, give or take a smidgen, you know. Just eyeball it, give it the best you got. And you can use a post-it note, you can use washi tape, whatever, to hold it in place, because you don't want it to move on you, because you want it to be where it's supposed to be. Put your, you start with your, well, I have a magnetic form because this is the old plate, and then you take your cutting plate, your top cutting plate, and run it through your die machine. And there's your cutout. Save that. You can use it for something else. So here's the paper. I have my first hole cut out that I would have cut out on this one. Okay, so now you're going to have to cut out this image, which is your leaf image. You'll be die cutting that out on your cardstock. So you need to make sure that you're lined up. Let me move this out of the way here for a second. You need to make sure that your paper is lined up where you want it to be. I've got mine cut to where I've got like a 1/4 inch border. So what I do, otherwise I know I'll mess it up. So I take, instead of messing up the front of my paper, I'm going to flip it over so I don't mess it up and use the back side, which you could use either side of your DSP, but I'm not using this side. So I would line this up where I want it on my card base, and for the ease of lining stuff up, I'm just going to draw a circle around where I've already die cut this out. That way when I place this, I know it's going to be hopefully in the closest spot possible. So there's your little tip on that, on getting it even, because it can be frustrating sometimes to try to line something up and it not get there. So now I'm going to, got to get my tape off of here because I left my other at the other side of the room. So I'm going to take, and you just line up your, I've got this one to where I had it lined up like this with the leaves and stuff hanging down. You could also do it from the side, or you could have them going, you know, up. So that's just your call on where you place your die and what position you place your die. Now your paper is going to have to go in lengthwise on the die cut machine. So now I'm going to take this and line it up as close as I can. Maybe get my light over here a little bit closer to me. I think I'll have it go this direction, and with any luck I've got it lined up correctly. I can barely see my line there. Where is it? Now I can't see it. There we go. There it is. And I want it to go this direction this time, I think. So I'm going to stamp, put down my tape. I'm going to turn it around this way so my paper's going out. And hopefully it all stayed in place. Put your plate on there. And we're going to give it another whirl and see. Get that back out of your eyes. Oh. And just because I don't want to have to do a lot of poking, run it back through. Make sure that it die cut everything out. And it looks like it did. Throw that over there. Yep, got all these little bits and pieces. We'll just leave them on my big shot. I'll clean that up after a while. Move this out of my hole. Oh, nope. I'm still going to need it to cut out the birds. Alright, let me cut out the birds here while I've got this here. So I'm going to clean this off anyways. Okay. But it die cut out all the little bits and pieces, as you can see. Cut them all out really nice. Lined up nicely. So, and that's your extra piece. You could save it to stamp the cinnamon or something on, or throw it away, your choice, whatever you do with it. Okay, we're going to die cut out the, what I'm calling Oriole today. We're going to die cut him out. Get my tape. See if I can. I don't think I'm in screen here for y'all, am I? Doesn't look like it. I hope you've seen. Did you see what I did a while ago cutting that out? I wasn't paying attention. Was I in screen so that you could see what I was doing cutting it out? If not, I totally screwed up and messed where you couldn't see. Not good on my part. Okay, let's get the little feet dies. While we're doing it, let's just do it all at once. I gotta find some tape because that ain't gonna stay in place. So what do y'all think about my new table? You're looking at the top of it, because I can't cover it up like I could my other one. Okay, do I have that? Or is that not? Must not be the right foot. Hopefully I cut out the right foot, or stamped the right foot. Well, this is the die for it. I do have the right die. Whether I stamped the right foot or not, I don't know. We're going to find out. stick that there. And we're going to use this darling little die here on that foot. I'm going to stick a piece of washi tape on that because I know it'll move. Yep, it did. Alright, let's see if I can line it back up. Okay. There's that. Now what do I do with my cutting plate? Here we go. Okay. Oops. Moved on me. Guess my tape, I've used it too many times. Time to get a new piece there. I don't want that much white showing. Alright. Let's try this again. Ooh, it's so nice having nice, clean plates to do my die cutting with. The other ones were really short. I just wouldn't give them up. Alright, so here's that scrap. Let's see if I can get this out of here. There it is. And somewhere my other bird feet fell off and I don't see them. Ah, there they are. Stayed on the plate. Okay, so there's that. I'll take the tape and all that garbage off later. Let's get this out of my way. Woo. Okay. So here's our feet. If I can get a hold of this little puppy. There's our feet. There's the one we just colored and die cut. Here's our other one. So we're going to move those over. Here's our card base. And I'm going to take this and we're going to see how good or bad I was on lining it up. And not perfect by any means. I was off a little bit. But you know what? I'm going with it. I'm going to adhere it down. Get my stamping seal here. Maybe. Y'all know I'm a liquid glue girl. I am not a stamping seal, but it is a little bit faster, I think. We'll see. And I'm off screen. And on your stamping seal, when you're using it, either lift back like that when you're through. That way your tape doesn't flip off of the little hootie. Or come back down and flip off to the side. But that'll keep your tape from going back inside the holder and getting all over your stuff. And I'm going to add just a little bit more here, because I want to make sure that sticks down. Okay. Well, Miss Mary, what do you think about me using peach instead of the wood grain? Instead of the birch stamp set? Or Judy? Somebody. What do y'all think about this design of my card versus the first one? Anybody? Alright, there's that adhered there. You know what? I forgot to stamp the bird nest. Yep, you can tell it's been a while since I've done this. Alright, there's the card front layer. That's die cut. We got the bird, so yeah, let me go back and stamp a bird nest. And I did not bring over any. Before I used crumb cake cardstock and stamped crumb cake on it, but this time, you know what, I'm going to use basic white. It'll work. And I got to do my eggs too. Yeah, well, I'm just on a roll. See, I could have stamped and die cut all of this at the same time as what I would tell you to do, instead of doing it haphazardly like I'm doing it right now. Okay, so I got my Pierce mat, stamping Pierce mat here, because when you're stamping large, more solid images, to get a good ink image on your paper, you know, when you're using something tiny, you can usually get away with it, but when you're using a solid image, you really should have a mat underneath your paper on top, so that you get a better stamped image. And we're going to go with soft suede for the nest. So I'm inking up my stamp here. Stamp off, make sure it looks good. Yep. Okay. We're going to go with it, and we're going to stamp it right there. Give it a second to get on the paper good. There we go. Clean my stamp. And let's see, let me find another block. Go ahead and stamp these eggs. And they're kind of a grayish white. When I looked them up, they're kind of a grayish white color with little speckles on them. So I'm going to go with a gray granite and stamp off so that they're not too dark. Yeah, that'd be way too dark. Okay, I think I'm even going to do, let's see. Yeah, I'm going to do a 3rd generation. So, okay, I stamp, or put my stamp into the ink pad, and I'm going to stamp off 1, 2, 3, because I don't want them to be that dark. And then I'm going to stamp on my paper. And I could have probably gone with a 4th generation, but that's going to work right there. And we'll just move that out of the way since it's on the block. I don't think I'll lose it. Now, let's see. Do I have everything this time? I got the nest. Yep. Alright, so, well, at least with this, I can use my little machine instead of getting out the big honker again. So, here we go. One more time. Let's do some more die cutting. Let me move this paper because it wants to slip around on the paper. So, I got this little mat thing that I put down to keep my machine from sliding around. And I've got my first plate, my second plate, and then I'll use my, oops, I gotta trim this or it won't fit in my machine. Too big. Let me trim that off a hair here so it'll fit through my machine. Okay, so I just trimmed it so it'd fit. I think it's 3.5 inches wide that you can put through the little machine. Let's see, somewhere on here. Yeah, 3.5 is the largest width you can get going on the little machine. But the dies, you know, there's going to be a lot of our dies that fit the little machine. Of course, there's still some that don't, so, you know. So, okay, here is, turn it so you can see it, because I'll be looking at it that way. Okay, I've got my paper. Let's line up the eggs and the nest. I'm going to flip this around so I can look at it the correct way here. Find me some tape over here. Just line them up the best you can. Let's see. That looks good. Now let's see, did I stamp them? I stamped them too close, so I can't die cut them out at the same time. I stamped them too close. Okay, well, I gotta turn it anyways because I can't. Okay, so let's see here. We got that one. So there's a bird's nest. Okay, now let's die cut the eggs. Should have paid better attention. Oh well, it is what it is. Now let's line these eggs up pretty good here. And I'll put a piece of tape on there. Put them on here. And we'll get them going. Maybe. Alright, I gotta turn it so I can get to it here. See if I can get this started. Come on. There we go. Turning it the wrong way. Guess it helped if I turned it the right way, huh? Okay. And even though the die, whoops, get these eggs. Okay, the die, you stamp it. When you stamp all 3 eggs at once, and the die will die cut out all 3 eggs at once, which makes it nice so you're not struggling to sit there and put 3 different little egg dies in there like you are these little feet. Alright. This time, hopefully, I've got everything cut. I think I do. We're fixing to find out. I'm going to slap this little puppy together and call it good. Anybody got any questions or anything? Okay. And the inside of your card, I'm going to go ahead and adhere the inside. So let's get my tape back out. Oh, didn't put it up. Go ahead and adhere the inside, and this is the same cut 4 by 5 1/4 that you did for the front of your card. And now on my other card, the circle that I die cut out of the front, I also used that on the inside of my card. Now you don't have to. You know, I had mine in there, but I used a different paper. But I don't guess it would hurt if you put this back in there, and you could line it up close like that, and you could leave it there and adhere it and put your bird nest on like I did the other one. Or you can leave it off and just put your bird nest on like I did. So, oh, I need liquid glue. Okay. Come here, glue. I've got to put their feet on here. And they're so tiny, I'm not going to try to... I've got glue all over my fingers trying to get the glue off my lid there. Come on. Sticky, sticky, sticky. That is tacky sticky. Yeah. Okay. So, let's see. I'm going to have this bird. Stick this here. I'm going to put a little dot of glue here. Or a lot. Boy, it really wants to come out freely tonight there. Okay. Let's see if I can get these other feet here. You know what? I'm going to take these feet. Add a little. Take some of that glue off of there that I just messed up. Come here, tweezers. See if I can do this again. Yeah, I just really messed that up. So guess what? I'm just going to wipe it off. I'm going to start over. Alright. Maybe the glue won't pour out like it did. Okay, so we're going to take this one. The glue's just pouring out of that bottle. Had it upside down too long. Okay, and I'm going to take and just leave those there, and I'm going to pick up my bird and situate its feet. About there. Let them connect, and then we're going to take this one, move that over here, and I'm going to put his feet, we're going to call her a her, on there. I got glue everywhere. Wipe it off on the glue mat. Okay, so we got our birds. Move my glue mat. Okay, and I'm going to take, now I put these flat on the front, so let's get a little more glue here. I'm going to have this one coming, yeah, I think about there. So let's see. I'm going to look on the inside and see. I'm going to have the nest about, I have the nest about there. So let's move her up to about there. And, okay, I'm going to put glue on these 3 leaves here. Whoops, there's a thing that didn't poke out there and there. Alright, I think that's it. Add a little glue here, here, and here. And put my bird. Right about there. Make sure that it's not hanging over the edge of your card so that it fits in your envelope. So there's one. I keep bending those. And this one, I'll go ahead and put him up here like he's perched over, eating a peach up here. What do you think? They're up here eating. He's eating a peach while she's going to tend to the nest. How do you like that? That's about par for the course, isn't it? Got to get a chuckle in there. Okay, so we're going to put him. I'm calling it a him. He's going to be perched up here, eating him a little peach. Maybe he's gathering food for, the mama. We'll look at it that way. How's that? Okay, so there's the front of your card. So, do you want to use the peach paper on the inside by the nest? Yes? No? Leave it plain? Any comments? Anybody? Anybody got any comments? Okay, well, I'm waiting to see if anybody replies. I'm going to throw some dimensionals on the back of the nest. And let's see. Get these out. Okay, so I'm just going to take some dimensionals and stick on the nest. I like using a lot of dimension. If I'm sending a card in the mail and it's got dimensions on it, dimensionals, I don't want it to get flattened down, so I put plenty on there. Probably overkill, but that's me. Y'all do how y'all want. I always flip it over and see if I feel like it's gonna mail good. So, okay. Anybody? Y'all want the peaches on the inside or not? Okay. Well, I don't know if y'all can hear me, if y'all are even there. Alright, well, I'm going to take the eggs and I'm going to glue them to the back of the... No, I didn't have them on the back of the nest. I glued them flat on the paper. So, I'm going to line it up. Yep, I am going to use the peach background. Except I need to erase my pencil mark there. Wouldn't want that to be seen. Yeah, I was off. Okay, I'm going to line this up with the paper that I cut so that it looks like it's supposed to. Let's see. Okay, so that would be right about there. Okay. Now I'll pick it up and move it. I'll have to realign it. Oh well, it is live. So we've got that there. And there. That looks good. Whoops, off just a hair right there. Yep. Okay. I adhered that down. I'm going to stick the bird's nest down if I can get these doodads off here. Maybe. There's one. Come on. There we go. One more. And I'm going to stick this. Make this right about here. I think that's about where I want it. Yep, looks good. Give it a press. And now these darling little eggs, I'm going to lay these, pick them up with some tweezers because it'll be easier for me to hold on to. And I'm just going to dab a little glue. And let's see, I think I'll stick one, I don't know, I'll stick one there. Stick another one. Stick another one about there maybe. And get the third one. And glue there, and we're going to stick this one right about there. Okay, so what do you think? What do you think about your finished card? Do you like that? Now you can take, oh, move out of my way, dogs. Let's see, let's get some twine, because I added twine to the first one. This one I'm going to add, we'll do, I think I'm going to use white on this one. And I'm getting a little bow maker doodad in here. Bow majig. Yeah, I could just tie it with my hand, but yeah, I'm just going to do it this way. And bring it over, under, tie a knot. And looks about even. Call it good. Pull it off. Get my snips. And trim that off. And we're going to add this. A bow. We're going to add that. I'm going to add it right. I added the other one at the top. I think I'll add this one down here to the bottom. And I'm going to add it with a blue dot. Where's my pokey tool here? Get a blue dot and kind of roll it up on itself. Take it off. And stick it back here. And then I'm going to stick it down here. Oops, my bow wants to turn wiggy wonky. Yeah, I like that. And give that a little trim. Or you can fray it. You can trim it, you can fray it, whatever makes you happy. And let's see, a sentiment to sentiment. Let's see what sentiments are on the front of this. Oh, this set doesn't come with sentiments. That's why I didn't. Okay, so I'm going to pull, let's see, we need a sentiment. Let's see what I've got made up here. Let's see, these are all the sentiments from the mini messages and mini mates Stampin' die set. So let's see, what do we want to put on here? The other one, I said just a card to say hello. Let's see, wishing you a year of magical wonderful. I could just stamp a sentiment. Thank you for being you. Birthday. Those are too big. Hooray, it's your birthday. Be strong, be brave, you've got this. Sending happy thoughts. Let's do a birthday card. You always use birthday cards, right? So, I used the Stampin' die set from, oh, where's my mini messages? Yep. I used the stamp set for the sentiment from the mini messages stamp and the message dies, and there was also a new set that came out in the new catalog which is called Mini Happenings, so you've got a lot more sayings that you can add to this set that also matches the dies. So it's really great. And this one says, love and hugs, just breathe, you did it. friends forever, sweet baby, there are no words. You're the best. The world needs more people like you. My precious memories being peace and comfort, happily ever after. Thank you for being my friend, bundle of joy, Mr. and Mrs. Congrats. Time to relax. And the loss is immeasurable, but so is the love left behind. So I'm going to pop this up since I've got dimensionals on the inside. If I can find where I put my dimensionals. Boy, when I start pitching stuff out of my way, I'll pitch it. Okay. So, add a couple of dimensionals to the back of this label. And ooh, a little close to the edge there. There we go. Let's see. Yeah. Yep, I'm going to stick one in the center. There we go. Now let's see if I can get these off a little bit better. There we go. I'll grab my tweezers and we're going to call this one Happy Birthday. And I'm going to stick this sentiment. Yeah, I want it over here to the left. Yeah. Yeah, I do. And I'm going to put it right there. There's your card, Miss Mary. What do you think? Well, that's my card. That's the second demonstration, and this was the first card that was requested to show how I made it. So, what's your preference? Card number 1 or card number 2 that we just finished? Well, I cannot see that anybody's made any comments or anything other than the very beginning, so I don't know what's going on. So there's the card. I hope you've enjoyed the live tonight. I hope I did it justice for you, Mary. I hope you enjoyed it. If y'all have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. And any other questions you have or any other cards that you'd like to see, I'll be glad to do a live or teach y'all how to do them in classes or whatever. And so thank y'all for hopping on. Enjoyed spending time with y'all. And y'all have a wonderful evening. Thank you. Good night. Happy stamping.